In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a drawing and make it so that you can use it for an animation. So I'm going to be showing you how to edit your photos for animation. So this is the original photo that I took with my phone. I clicked edit and I clicked crop. So after I clicked on crop, I cropped it without taking out any of the picture, but just getting rid of the background. And I also rotated it. So once I've cropped and rotated it, I'm then going to go to the filters. I need a black and white filter. On an iPhone, that filter is noir. So I click noir, and then the next thing I'm going to do is adjust the exposure. I want the exposure a lot higher so that the background is pure white. So once I've got the black lines as black, the background as white, I'm going to save my image, and then I need to email it to myself. Do not just put it in your Google Drive. You have to email it to yourself because otherwise it's not going to be in JPEG format. Then download it to your computer, and you're going to open up Photopea, www.photopea.com. I will put in the comments and the description a cheat sheet in the video description that gives you all the most important tools that we're going to be using in Photopea. You have to email the image to yourself. So I emailed the image to myself. Let me just see if I can find it in my email. So this is the earlier kind of crappy image. I don't want to email that to myself. This is the one I need. There's the download. So I downloaded it to my device. It's now in my device. It's called image_28803 JPEG. Now I'm going to go to Photopea. So I'm in photopea.com. Remember, you have to log in. And the way you're going to log in, I'll just log out to show you. The way you're going to log in is account, log in, and you're going to log in with Google, okay? That means you're going to pick your school account with your school sign in and your school password and everything, and that's how you're going to log in. Now, there's all these things. Go Premium, you can buy for whatever money. No, you don't need that. So X that out. And now I'm going to do File Open. And I'm going to open it from my downloads. So I go to downloads and date modified today. And the most recent download is that image_2880. So I'm going to just click on it. There it is. That's the most recent image, and open it. Now I've opened it, and I'm going to now go to the Magic Wand tool. Now, where is the Magic Wand tool? It's not visible. It is a hidden tool. See this little weird bean shape? That's the object selection tool. Hidden underneath that is the Magic Wand. I click on the Magic Wand, and I click over here to the white area of the background, and I hit backspace. Now, over here, I accidentally took out something I didn't mean to. So I'm going to hit Control-Z, which undoes it. And I'm going to take my magnifying glass, which is on plus for making it bigger, and I want to zoom in here and find out why the heck it actually took color out of the wheel. I don't want that. And I can see there's a little gap somewhere. Let me just look around here. I think there's a little gap where it was accidentally selecting the inside. So I'm going to go here to the foreground color, and I want to make it black. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go to my paintbrush, and I want to just close up this little gap right there. Okay, and I hope that that does it. Let me just see if there's any other gaps. No, it looks like that was the little gap, so I'm just going to click my mouse and draw here to close that up. It's not really going to work that well if anything's selected, so do select, deselect. All right, so now that should be closed now, okay, hopefully. So now I'm going to zoom out. So I go to my magnifying glass and I hit minus. I'm going to zoom out. I can just take this hand and pull it so that I can see everything. It's on minus. There we go. Now I have everything. Now I'm going to go to my wand. I'm going to click here, and hopefully when I hit the backspace key, it won't take anything away from the inside of my wheel. Yep, I was able to close that. Now, I want to erase. So this thing here is the eraser, okay? Now, I take that eraser, and it's real small. So I go up here to the 15, and I can make it bigger. All right? So now it's bigger, and that's how big it is. Okay, now I want to erase. It's not letting me erase. Why? Well, remember, I took my magic wand, and I clicked here on the background. So it selected the background, and then I hit the backspace and I got rid of it, but that background is still selected. So I go select, deselect, and now I can erase, okay? So now I've erased that little gap here. Now I want to get rid of the little lines, the little white boxes inside here. So I'm going to take first of all, I want to zoom in, minus, I want to make it on plus. So I zoom in, and I want to get rid of these little white areas here. So I'm going to take my magic wand. I'm going to click on the first one, and I want to get rid of all of them. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and click on the second one to add to my selection. You can add multiple areas to your selection by holding the shift key down while you select different things. So that it allows you to add to the selection. Otherwise, if I clicked on a different spot, it would deselect the spot I previously selected. So holding the shift key down allows you to select multiple areas. I just hit the backspace and they are gone. So now I go up here and I want to select the windows. So I select this one. If I hold the shift key down, I can also select this one and that one. Hold the backspace key down and ta-da, they're gone. So now I'm going to do select, deselect, and I want to zoom out. Okay, now I want to take my wheels and I want to move them so they're underneath the car. So theoretically, you could just select the car, theoretically, and you could take the move tool, which is this, and you could move the car down so it's on top of the wheels. The only problem with that is now it's all in the same layer. I don't want that. I want them in different layers. So I'm going to do edit, cut, and then I'm going to do edit, paste. And this layer 1, I'm going to double click on where it says layer 1 and I'm going to rename it car. And then hit enter, and now that layer is named car. And now I'm going to take this wheel, the front wheel, I'm going to just run an rectangular marquee around that, edit, cut. Oh, no, you know what? I was up in the car layer. I was not down in the background layer. So I'm going to have to do that again. There's my rectangular marquee. I select the wheel. No, that didn't work. Select the wheel, edit, cut, edit, paste. Now it's called layer 1. I'm going to rename it front wheel. Okay, now I've got my front wheel and it's underneath my car, and I can take it and I can move it so that it's actually underneath the car. And the nice thing is they're in separate layers, so I didn't lose any of the detail. So this layer is still called background, and it's just basically the back wheel. So I'm going to name it back wheel. Okay, now enter, and now I'm going to take my move tool and I'm going to take my back wheel, move it up here. And now I have a lot of extra space in my document. So I'm going to take my rectangular marquee. I'm just going to drag it over everything, and then I'm going to go to the word image and crop. And now I have a much smaller document, but it's still not small enough to use in the Wik editor for animation. So I'm going to go image size. And now this is a lot of gobbledygook. I don't understand what any of this means. So let me just decipher it for you. DPI is the resolution. That's how many pixels per inch. 72 is real low. I'm going to change that to 300 pixels per inch. This object, I have no idea how big it is. It says it's 2,274 pixels. That sounds like a lot, but I don't know how big a pixel is. So let me go to inches. Oh, it's 31 inches wide and 23 inches high. That's huge. I only need it to be about 2 inches high. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to change that to 2 inches. But if I just change the height to 2 inches, look, the width is still 31.58 inches. Do I have to sit there with a calculator and figure out how big the width needs to be? Because if I change it now, the whole thing is going to be short but very wide, and it's going to look weird and stupid and stretched. So what I do is I click on this keep aspect ratio, this little lock, and look what happens. Look what that 31.58 number, and I'm going to click on it. Click, it changes. Okay, so that keeps the proportions the same. I'm going to hit OK, and now I have this tiny little thing, but because I changed the DPI to 300, it's very high resolution. So imagine if you blew up a balloon and drew a picture, and then you let that balloon deflate, and the picture became teeny, teeny, tiny, but very detailed. That's what you have now. So I know this to be the case because, let me just hit select, deselect. Now, if I click on the magnifying glass and I hit plus so it's bigger, when I enlarge it, I have not lost any detail. If I hadn't changed the DPI from 72 to 300, when I enlarged it now, it would be a problem. It would be pixelated. Okay, so now my next thing is I want to add some color. So let me just hide the wheels for a minute and let me focus on the car. I want to add some color. So I'm going to take my wand and I'm going to add color here. I'm going to hold the shift key and add color there. Okay, so I want the body of the car and the hood to be, I want it to be like flames. So I need to change the foreground and background color. The foreground color is now black. I'm changing it to red. The background color is yellow, which is actually what I want. Now, this thing here is the gradient. I'm going to click on the gradient tool. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. That looks really sharp, but I think I want it like to go from yellow to red. That's even sharper. Okay, maybe from here to here. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so I got something that I like here. I finally have it. Now I want to maybe change I'm going to select with my magic wand the headlights, and I just want them to be yellow. So edit, fill. It turns out the background color happens to be yellow, so I'll just click background, hit OK. Now, let me mess around with the wheels. So let me go to I'm going to hide this layer. I'm going to do select, deselect. I'm going to hide this layer, and I want to look at the front wheel. Okay, so I'm in the front wheel layer. Let me click there. I'm going to use my wand, and I'm going to just click here where it's white, and I want to turn that black. So edit, fill, black. Okay. You know what? That selection, if I take that selection and I modify it and expand it by 2 pixels, and then do edit, fill, black, I think it looks a little better. I just expanded the selection, got rid of that sort of white around the edges. So select, deselect. Now I got this nice tire here, and I'm now going to hide that. I'm going to go to the back wheel. I'm going to select with my wand the white. I'm going to modify that selection. Select, modify, expand. Expand it by 2 pixels. OK. Edit, fill, black. Select, deselect. And now let me look. I got this whole car, but I'm noticing that the wheels are a little too big. So I'm going to just go here to that back wheel. Edit, transform, scale. Now it's the same thing in Photopea, okay? Where if you don't hit the shift key, you end up accidentally distorting it. So I hold the shift key down, I make it smaller, and now I have to use I'm going to check that off, and I'm going to use the move tool to move it back where it was, and it's a much more reasonable size. And the front wheel as well. Let me just click on that. I'm going to do edit, transform, scale, and I'm going to hold the shift key. I'm going to make oh no, that's the wrong layer. Okay. I want this layer, edit the front wheel layer, edit, transform, scale, hold the shift key and make the front wheel smaller. All right, now I have everything I want, except I don't know how to export it. I don't know where to put it or what to do with it. So this is super important, okay? Very, very important. You have all these layers. They have clear backgrounds, and you need them to go to the WIC editor. So you're going to do File, Export Layers. And this is weird. It says only layers from and folders whose names start with E. What the heck is that? It says I have 0 exportable layers. What happens if I uncheck this thing? Now I've got all 3 layers are exportable. They're exportable as portable network graphics with clear backgrounds, which is what I want. So I'm going to export the layers. There they are in a zip file. Okay. I need to go to that zip file and I need to go extract and extract all. Okay, because a zip file is a very compressed file. And now I hit extract, and there they are, back wheel, front wheel, car. Okay, now that I have them extracted and they're in the temporary downloads of my Chromebook, I'm going to need to put them into Google Classroom because I don't, Photopia is not going to save any of this stuff. I did all this work. I need it in the, in my Chromebook, okay? So I'm going to take it from my Chromebook and put it into Google Classroom, okay? All these things, car, front wheel, back wheel, need to be uploaded to Google Classroom. Right now, I'm going to just show you real quick, going to the WIC editor. This is where the magic really starts. I'm in the WIC editor. I'm going to launch the WIC editor. I'm going to try the WIC editor. Now, I'm going to make it big. So I'm going to go here, 1080. I'm going to name the project. I hit apply. I'm not going to name it now because I'm just demoing, but this is the game changer. Upload assets over here. Now look what I just did. This is the asset library, upload assets. Now I can go to my downloads and I can go to date modified today. And if I look here, asset 6, there's a little folder here that has these assets, back car, front wheel, back wheel. I'm now going to click on front wheel, hold the shift key down, click on car, click on back wheel. I've now selected all 3 of them. Open. Here they come into the WIC editor. Wow. Okay. Now I have these assets in the WIC editor and I can start to pull them in and do stuff with them. So I can take this car and pull it in. Okay, so now I've got the car in the WIC editor. I'm going to actually take that car and I'm going to select it. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to make a new frame and paste it. A new frame, 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 paste it. Now, I'm going to lock this layer so I can't do anything else with this layer, okay? And I'm going to add a new layer underneath it, right? And I'm going to take my back wheel. Now I need to create the first frame in my new layer. I'm going to take the back wheel. I'm going to bring it in here. And I'm going to put it where it belongs here. Okay. And then I'm going to take, I'm still in that frame. Let me put this in the right spot. Okay, good. All right, I like that. No, it needs to be over a little bit more. Okay, good. There's my back wheel. Now I'm going to go to my front wheel. Click on that. Same layer. Okay, make sure I'm in that bottom layer. I'm going to take my front wheel, put it where it's supposed to go, move it so that it looks right. Good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the top layer. Just hide it, okay? I'm going to take my selection tool in the bottom layer and I'm going to drag it across both wheels. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go to the second frame. I'm going to paste them. And I'm going to paste them multiple times. Keep adding new frames, paste them multiple times. Now, watch this. I'm going to go to the first one, and I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm going to go to the second one. I'm going to click on this wheel, and I'm not moving it. I'm just rotating it slightly. Okay, then I'm going to click on this wheel, not move it, just rotate it slightly. Now, I don't know if it still looks right, so now I'm going to unhide that top layer. It looks fine. So now I'm going to hide the top layer. I'm going to go to the next frame. And I think what I'm going to do is just select both of these and delete them. And the reason why is because I'm going to take the ones from frame number 2. I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to copy them. And I'm going to paste them. But then I'm going to click off screen. And I'm going to just take that front one, rotate it a little. And that second one, rotate it a little. Okay. Now I'll go to the next frame. And I think I'm going to just delete these two. I'll just hit the backspace, get rid of them after I've selected them. I'm going to go to these two, select these two, copy them, go to the next frame and paste them. Then click off the screen to deselect them and just go to the first one, rotate it, the second one, rotate it. Okay. Now I'm going to unhide the top layer to make sure they're in the right spot. They look okay. Now, I want to go to this next frame after that, and I'm just going to delete these. I want to get rid of them. All right. I'm going to go to the frame I was just on. I'm going to select both these. I'm going to copy them, and then I'm going to go to the next frame after that and paste them. And I'm going to click on this one, rotate it, and then this one, rotate it. Okay? Now, I'm going to leave that last frame there because I feel like it made a complete rotation. So theoretically, yeah, okay. You see what's happening? It looks like the wheels are moving. So now if I unhide this layer and then I hit play, pretty cool. It looks like my wheels are moving. Okay. So now you see how you can design these assets and bring them in from Photopea. And it works because you deleted the background and you saved it as a PNG. A portable network graphic with a transparent background can be put into any other type of digital document, movie, anything, and it won't have that annoying white box around it. Okay. So theoretically, if you wanted to, you could add a third layer. Now I could go to that first frame. I could make the background like a light blue. Okay. I'm in that first frame on that third layer. I could make a huge blue rectangle. Okay. And I could take that frame and pull it out. And now when I hit this, it looks like the car is driving along and the background's blue. Now I could go back here to that third layer again. Okay. And I can change the background fill color to green. And I can make another rectangle here. And I can just select it, move it down a little. Okay. And then theoretically, let me zoom in a little. Now, the problem is the car is actually moving backwards. Okay, do you see that? Okay, so I needed to rotate it in the other direction to make it look right. So theoretically, if I take a frame and I move it to the end, and then I take the second frame and I move that to the end, and I take the third frame, and I move that to the end, and then the fourth frame, move that to the end. I can reverse the entire movie. Let me see if that works. Okay, it works, but then I got this whole thing here. So what happens if I take that thing selected and put it in the garbage? Doesn't seem to work. Okay, so now let me take these frames. I'll start with this one, and I'm just going to go underneath with it. I'm going to use the cursor. I'm going to go underneath, and I'm going to select all these frames, and I'm going to use this to move them to the beginning. So now, theoretically, my wheels should be moving in the correct direction. Yeah. So now it looks like it's moving. The only thing is, it really doesn't. It looks like the wheels are spinning in place. So let me go back to this bottom layer, okay? And I'm going to make the fill color white. You find a white. There's white. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, and I'm going to make a bunch of clouds. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I don't want those clouds in the same layer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them. I can't do that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Get rid of all those clouds. I'll keep hitting. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to add another layer. And I'm going to take that layer and I'm going to drag it so it's above layer 3. Okay? And in that first frame of that layer, I'm going to make a bunch of clouds. Now, check this out. I'm in the first frame, okay? I'm going to go here, and I'm going to select. I don't want to select that. Okay, I want to be in layer 4. That means I need to lock layer 3 so that I don't have this problem. So I'm going to lock it, okay? Now, I'm in layer 4. I take my cursor, and I'm going to select all the clouds. So I'm just going to drag it across till I get all the clouds, okay? I'm going to copy. I'm going to go to frame 2, paste them, turn on the onion skin, and move them just a little. I got to reselect them. Okay, they're selected. And now I'm going to just move them a little bit this way. Okay, and then I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go to the third frame, paste them, move them a little farther this way. Copy them, go to the next frame, paste them, move them a little farther this way. Copy them, next frame, paste them, move them a little farther. Copy them, go to the next frame, paste them, move them a little further. Now, let's see how my video looks. Okay, I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not going to export my video yet because it's only 6 frames, which is real short. But I could save my project and work on it tomorrow by hitting save. You're going to just save it and put it into Google Classroom for tomorrow. Okay? So you just don't hit export. That would make it an MP4, but it's too short to really be a good movie. So you're going to do save, and it says my project, WIC, and then you're going to take that project and you're going to put it in Google Classroom in this assignment, but don't hit submit yet because we're still working on it. All right, and hope you enjoyed that tutorial.